help me be efficient. Break out those tests. And I'm sorry, the quizzes, you're just going to have to help me make that transition in language. We ranged from a 98 to a 63 and had a very high average. Best any group who's ever done swimming. I'm really happy about that. You want to see them real quick? Yeah. So here's what I need help with this. We need to do this very fast. I need you to get them. I need you to see your grade, and then I need them back so I can enter them in the senior systems. And ideally, what I plan to do is have that entered, give them to you, and then we look at the comments together. Okay, that's what will be our sort of routine. So I'm going to grade them, I'm going to write a comment in the system, we're going to take class time, we're going to look at the grades there, we're going to look at the comment there. Okay? So let me, I'm just mixing them up just for fun. Can you help, I'm just going to kind of hold it like this and you get it to the person for me. Okay, Claire, you can wrinkle them, I need them back. Henry, Sarah, Ian, you've got the drama, you just stand in the middle and do them. Sarah, Cora, Adam, Christine, Jeffrey, Molly, Ben, yep, absolutely. Oh. Thank you so much. Leah, Alex, Ashley, Nathaniel, Lolly,
yeah.
And Howard. Okay, we good? Okay, hand back. Yeah. Good. I will make those pretty later. Do I have them all? Today, I asked you to do some stuff, right? How did looking up the main idea or the thesis that the question corresponds to, how did that go? A little clunky? Somebody, what did you put before the first one? Yeah, Benjamin, what do you think?
I thought it was difficult at first, but once I was able to connect the thesis sort of to my ideas, like the thought process just kind of started flowing like a
Okay, can you give me a little bit of that flow? Give me your answers to a couple of questions.
Okay, so for the first one, 26.
Can I look with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the existence of a single original concept is improved by the presence of, and then it was D, and the answer, oh wait, no. The answer was B, discovery of nearly identical species of fish.
Yeah. I thought that was a little bit hard to link to a main idea, to link to the thesis. That one was a little funky. I think the question is significant because it refers to scientists proving stuff. And I think that's challenging for some people. Okay? What's the other significance, potential significance of that one landmass?
Well, it's the fact that America was like a separate landmass from everything else really made it a big impact.
What is that huge impact to? Those people did not develop the immunities that people on other land masses did, and that allowed 90% of them to be wiped out. That's huge. And why did that happen? Geology. Plate tectonics. Can you imagine plate tectonics is responsible for the European invasion of North America? I really need you to let go of the idea that these big bad Europeans came in with guns and swords and to slaughter people. They wouldn't have been able to do it. In a culture, who was dying in Native American culture? Which groups of people? Just the poor people? Just the, the priests? What does that do to a culture when, your priests are dying? Your priests have no predictive power, no control. Your culture starts falling apart. I do not know this. This is just me, and when I make stuff up, I will tell you. If I tell you other stuff, it means it came from somewhere. But I think Montezuma was probably in political trouble. I know other Aztec empires have had serious trouble because they got indulgent and removed from their people, like happens in a lot of civilizations, and they were doing whatever they could to maintain their power. I wonder if this was one of those. Okay? So that's the second one. What do you do for the second one? Ice Age counted for the origins of North America's human history because...
I said it was because so technically the Native Americans were the original immigrants of North America because they crossed the land bridge.
Yeah.
And that was such a long time ago. Like, people think that they were native to that land, but they really weren't.
Oh, that's kind of fun. What's the main idea? What's the main idea that this is connected to, though? Climate change shapes human history. Okay. In 1492, when Europeans arrived in the Americas, the total of 2 continents was dispelling the notion that it was an uninhabited landmass. It's 54 million people. 90% of them gone by the end of the 15th century. Wow. Okay. Some of the more... Now, here's what I was thinking. When you're reading the text, can you imagine looking at this test question and reading it? In 1492, when the Europeans arrived in the Americas, the total of the 2 continents' populations was perhaps... And you're thinking, Jesus, I don't know, 5 million, 15, 35, 54, 82, I don't know. I don't know. What's the difference between 35, 54, 82? How do you get this one right? Because when you're reading, and you read 54 million people, what do you think? Or what do you feel? Wow. So you write in the column of your book, an exclamation point, you go, wow, 54 million. Is that a number worth remembering? Yeah. It is. There's going to be lots of numbers. You don't have to memorize numbers. I would not memorize any dates or numbers that you don't have a story for. But when you come across the date 1763, when the policy toward the colonies shifts and it creates an independence, you've got to know that date. When a number as significant as 90% or 54 million, when you're reading, if you're reading interactively in an engaged manner to learn, then you go, wow. And you don't pick 35 or 82 because you never saw those numbers. So if I gave you 53 million, 54 million, 55 million, or 56 million, what's the Joe Blow take on me asking that question? Boy, that's nitpicky. But why is it not 53 or 55? Because you have no experience with that number. So it's not nitpicky. Do you see how the notion that that's nitpicky could keep you from learning? To set you up with an attitude that keeps you from learning? Okay. Some of the more advanced... Okay, we get that, right? We've got 4 minutes. You get this idea? Let's just skip a couple and jump in somewhere. The Iroquois Confederacy, number 36, was able to menace its Native American and European neighbors because of its military alliances, sustained political and organizational skills. What's the thesis or main idea that that's connected to?
I mean, I connected it to kind of chance again, like contributing to agricultural innovations that like sustained the Iroquois as like a better, like more advanced civilization than others in Americans.
Okay, so it's part of the main idea that these were complex, sophisticated civilizations. What's the big differentiator between the Native Americans and the Europeans? Between the Norse and the Spanish?
The Spanish had backing
of a nation state. The people who don't have a nation state, that's very opposed. and indigenous peoples are disappearing all over the planet. I think there are languages disappearing every single day. Those people are being wiped out by the forces of nation states. It's still going on. Okay. One of the reasons. Well, that's another. Okay, don't worry about it. The other thing I really like about it is what the notion does it dispel? What the significance? What? Yeah, that they were all nice and they were going good. No, they had military alliances and huge trade networks, and they exploited each other. And come on, right? Get over your little fairy tale thing. Okay. The early voyages of the Scandinavians didn't result in a permanent settlement. 38. Why? No nation state. How many times does nation state show up? I mean, that's probably maybe the most important thing to learn in chapter 1. That's the driver.
Meaning general, like nation states.
Yeah, onto this stage created by all kinds of circumstance. All of a sudden, you have these nation states starting to compete, and wow. I think that's kind of it. All right. Now, let me just do this. I assigned you then, you get the idea on these, right? Okay. Then I said, what I wanted you to see is Marco Polo. What multiple choice question gives you perfect ID language for Marco Polo? Claire, which one? Where is it?
It's 40.
40. Question 40. Claire, go ahead, say it. Marco Polo, comma.
Marco Polo, Christian crusader, indirectly responsible for the discovery of America because he brought back news of valuable parties to fight Israel.
Do you get it? The perfect idea. And what's the significance of it?
It led to their one thing of its life.
Even more specific. What did it lead to? Who's the big driver? The nation state. Can a government, a nation state, the Queen Elizabeth, the Ferdinand and Isabella, can they do it without public opinion? Can they do it without some sort of public support? They can't. What provided the public opinion? I want sugar and spice and everything nice. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Are you killing a few people to get it? Well, we won't pay attention to that because we want the sugar and spice and everything nice. Do you see it? All right, cool. Montezuma. What question provides you with perfect ID language?
Oh, 58.
Which number?
58.
58. Monte, make it work for me. Montezuma, comma.
Montezuma, the Aztec chief of Tenochtitlan, allowed Cortez to enter because he believed that Cortez was the god.
Let's go. And what is the significance?
He needed justification for letting Cortez in.
Okay. And maybe if he, yeah.
Like he exposed their land, kind of. That was kind of a turning point.
Kind of a turning point, yeah.
Shows that he had like the support of the god, so that was.
Okay, it may have boosted in the interest of boosting his power. That's speculative. Perhaps in the name of boosting his power, he opened the door for the Europeans. It shows that individuals matter. Good ones and bad ones. Hitler matters, right? Nobody with Hitler's agenda. Story of Europe and the world is very different. Thank God Roosevelt had a very different agenda because he could have done something very similar in the 1930s. Americans looked just as lunatic at the Democratic Convention of 33, as they were 34, whatever it is, as the guys in the Nazi rally. And Roosevelt could have exploited that, and he didn't. Instead, he chose to remind those people of who we are and what we're about. Okay? So individuals matter. It also, what if that guy wasn't there? What if it was a different guy who didn't have that need or wasn't willing to do that? Could have been a big difference, right? Okay, a little haphazard. Geez, did that have a big impact on the course of history? And it's like one guy, whoa, individuals matter. You get it? Do you see how you can super efficiently make IDs out of these questions? Where are these questions from? Directly out of your book. So when you're reading and you read important people, places, and things, think comma, boom! So when you read, put ID out there, so that when we go to make ID cards, that's what we're going to do. When we meet again, we're going to come and take our reading quiz, then we're going to talk about what was cool, what we got out of it, and then we're going to do some work that will help establish study materials for the AP. That make some sense?
Yes.
Okay. I hope you learned some stuff. And if by some magic I got you to mature, you let me know, because I'm going to write Mr. Sternberg and tell him that I could do it. No, I couldn't. All right. Have a great weekend. Do you have some stuff from today to add to your learning log? I hope so. I do. Thank you guys. You're really great. To tell you the truth, that was a lot.
You know what, I came and talked to you yesterday.
Yeah, you were like great.
I was so bad.
Get that out of your head.
Yeah.
So I just showed you that multiple choice are not what you think they are.
Like, I know, I love reading at night, though I had to work till midnight. So I read it the night before,
Yeah.
but then I was But
But do you feel like you can do a different purpose now?
yeah.
And you demonstrated when you were going over them that you know how to
I
think
love
about it.
history. Like, you know, when I read, that sticks in my head, and that kind of...
Don't worry about it. We'll drop the lowest one.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, do you have anything I can put this in?
What is it?
Viewer?
As in a refrigerator?
As in-
Or a bowl?
What are we going?